Alright, so tonight Trinidad and Tobago played its final game in the group stage of Gold Cup 2025. Unfortunately, we came away with a draw against Saudi Arabia when we needed a win. So our tournament is done. We had some bright spots in the game. We had some times when we were playing quality football. The first half we were very aggressive and playing on top of Saudi Arabia. Saudi Arabia sat back and there were some opportunities that they had also, but they really didn't capitalize on it. We obviously had that fantastic goal by Dante Sealy, and it was an amazing goal, really and truly. People call it the goal of the tournament so far. He got the ball, cut inside his defender and raised his head and put it up in the jet nest. There were some angles that showed that the keeper didn't even move. He had no chance. Really and truly, that was a goal that probably most keepers wouldn't have been able to handle. So well done, Dante Sealy. You definitely are a bright spot on our team. Given that good work on the right hand side. We know that in a few games you scored 3 goals so far, so definitely a threat going down that wing. So continue doing your good work and thank you for your service. Real Gill came in today because Tyree Spicer, I don't know if he's injured, I don't know what's his story, but his name wasn't even on the list today. And Real Gill came in and he did relatively okay. He had one ball in particular that he played to Levi Garcia, who had the shot, and it was put around the post where it could have been 2-0. And every time you look at that play from different angles, you will see how beautiful a play that actually was. That one ball dissected 3 players and got to Levi on the run. So perfectly weighted ball by Real Gill. Again, a little bit in the wars on that side. We know he's a bit smaller than Tyree Spicer, so Tyree Spicer may have been a little more physical today and held a little bit better, possibly. We didn't see him. We hope that everything is okay with that Johnny Fortune, because he came on and there was an off the ball incident where when they showed it afterwards, the player wrestled him to the ground and he had to be taken off by stretcher. So we don't know exactly what happened, if he rolled his ankle, if he was hit, or we don't know exactly what, but hope that all is well with Johnny and that speedy recovery, because we know that you go back to your club and you were on the starting line for your club all the time, right? We had Kevin Molino for 65 minutes. Somebody asked if we think Kevin Molino should be starting and if he could give us 90. I know he couldn't give us 90. I kind of estimated 60 to 65 and we got 65 out of him. When again in the first half we were a lot more aggressive. That is probably coming from our coaching strategy, and we did well. So well done, Dwight, and your team for putting us on the front foot there. It's unfortunate that we always have to wait till the last game to see that. It kind of reminds me of, and for those who remember West Indies cricket, when we looked at some series and the West Indies were already beaten in the series, then Chris Gayle would come and score 100 in the last game when they needed it before. We needed to be a bit more aggressive in the first 2 games, but we saw that aggression in the last game, at least in this game, at least in the first half. Why I say that is because when the second half started, we were up 1-0, and I don't know if we thought that was enough, and we started to sit back, started to tire. Let's just talk about the load management, because we've had some of our older players playing continually. This tournament was like every 3 or 4 days, and they came off our qualifiers, and then some played in the Unity Cup. So we had some of our players doing a lot of work. So could have been that we were just actually being tired and I guess not recovering as we should have. possibly because we linemen, but that's a whole different story. That is the story we got up to this morning, that our guys went Juneteenth parties. I'm not gonna talk about that tonight. Areas that we definitely need to improve on: corners and crosses. Corners, in some instances we can't beat the first defender. In some instances we overhitting the ball. We just can't seem to figure out how to get the ball in the box where our players actually are. That's something we definitely need to work on, and you would have thought that on your third week together, your team would be doing something, practicing crosses, practicing headers, practicing putting the ball in the box. At least I thought that should have been something you'd have done. Taking too long on the ball. Many times there were situations where a player would get the ball and the Saudi Arabian team would take it off of them. And I'm talking from Molino, I'm talking about from Rio Cardines, I'm talking from Yates when he came on. A couple other players were just taking too long on the ball. In the second half, when they upped the tempo and started to come at us, we were easily losing the ball. And that's because we were taking too long in any kind of decision making. Recycling the ball. So when a corner doesn't work, or a set play doesn't work, or a throw in doesn't work, and they head the ball out or they put the ball out, our players don't seem to want to put back the ball in the mix to get some level of play out of it again. We quickly decide to play a lateral ball, or more times than not, we going all the way back to our defenders, or sometimes even Marvin, to start back the play. We just came from a set play, corner, whatever, and going all the way back allows the opposition time to settle, to structure themselves again, and then we starting over a play from quite there, which doesn't really make sense. If we on the offensive and we have them from a play where we send our players up, then let's continue pressing. That happened with at least 4 or 5 of our players. Our midfielders were continually doing that. Alvin Jones did it. As I mentioned, Rio Cardines did it. Andre Raymond did it. Several of our players played a little bit, again, I'm not sure if it's scared is the word, but safe. Let's use that word. They played it a little bit safe when they could have put back the ball in the mix and try to get something. I do like the fact that Justin Garcia went up and started to play on top, and Natty came back and got the ball and gave it to him. Very, very unfortunate that he hit the crossbar instead of taking us to the second stage of the tournament. But so let's just talk about that one point right there. Knowing that we have a makeshift defense at best, knowing that our midfield, if it's not working through Kevin Molino, then is kind of non-existent. Knowing that some of our options are limited in at least 2 out of 3/3 of the pitch, and that we have some attacking power going forward, we were literally one goal away, one crossbar away from making it to the next stage of this tournament. So let's not think it's all doom and gloom and that we don't have a decent team, because we do have a decent team. I think we definitely need some additional resources, and I definitely think that our structure needs to be a little more stable. But I could see that we have a fight. I don't know why we always have to wait till it's almost out to present this fight. Why we don't go into the tournament like that? Because had we offered some level of fight, we may not have gone down 5-0 to the US. And if we were in a scenario where goal difference mattered, we could have been in a better position there. But again, all those possibilities and all those conversations after the fact. Today, I just want to say well done. We drew again with a team that we lost recently. We played okay against Haiti. We got a result when we should have gotten a better result. And we didn't do well at all against USA. I really not going to sugarcoat that. So, well done, team. I know you all well deserved rest, going back to the clubs. We hope that the coach and his staff get some additional resources, get some more help, and we look forward to World Cup qualifiers coming up. Again, like, share, and subscribe, and tell me your thoughts and what you think we could have done differently, and what was the next step for us as a footballing nation. Looking forward to hearing from it in the comments, from you all in the comments.